Hey everybody, welcome to this beautiful Sunday morning, and I'm going to be showing you guys my entire MCU Steelbook collection here on the top shelf, plus a few other comic book movies that I have. Before we get started, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Well, let's get started here. Obviously, the first, we're going to go in chronological order as of release date. That's how I have my movies ordered. Starting off, Iron Man 1. From the MCU. Here's the back. Robert Downey Jr., Jeff Bridges. This is a beautiful cover. This is kind of these covers are the early MCU stuff. I mean, these got released later on in the Steelbook run. So this was they kind of went back to what they were doing originally, just with the cast photo on the front. I'm not a huge fan of this, but this was just the way the 4Ks came. I'm not sure if this ever got released on if there was just a Iron Man Steelbook release on Blu-ray. There possibly was. I wasn't collecting Steelbooks when it was Blu-ray. The only Steelbook that I can remember we'll come to in a little bit is the Guardians of the Galaxy Steelbook, the first one that has the tape recorder on it, which I've talked about before in my videos. That's the one that I really remember. There may have been other Steelbooks, of course, from other countries. There's all kinds of stuff, but the American release, this is it, and this is the inside of the case. Before we get too far into it, there you go. And I'm going to show you guys the artwork on the inside if I can get the Blu-ray out of here. It's being a pain in the butt there. It's just the picture of Tony Stark there. Sorry about that. There we go. Tony Stark there with his arm out. Pretty cool stuff. Nothing super fancy. Pretty, just a pretty, just a pretty nice looking steelbook cover. And we'll move on. Okay, the next. Now, the next one is a Blu-ray Steelbook, and this was one I bought like after I started collecting Steelbooks, and this is the only way you could get it. And actually, this is the Incredible Hulk. This is the first iteration of their Steelbook. This is part of a series of Steelbooks that were out that were like this. There was another one I was looking at earlier that's in the same fashion, and I'll try to pull it out here for you if I can find it. I hate this. Every time that I do this, I always forget. Yeah, here it is. But this is King Kong Steelbook, and it's in that similar kind of comic book cell fashion as far as the front cover goes. That was a series of Steelbooks. I don't have a whole lot of them, but that was a series. But this is the Steelbook. But if you notice here, there's the back for you. It just kind of has the normal stuff. And this is the Edward Norton Hulk, Incredible Hulk. I really enjoyed this movie. I liked Edward Norton as Bruce Banner. But if you notice something here, when you open this up, this is one of my made 4K Steelbooks. I took a Blu-ray Steelbook and put the 4K in it because that's the only way you could get the Hulk at first was in 4K, just a regular 4K. And I haven't went back and switched it back yet. I'm going to move on from this kind of quickly because the next Steelbook is the actual 4K release from the MCU of the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. Edward Norton. New cover. Here's the back. Really cool. That's a really cool cover. Here's the inside of it for you guys. Your two discs, Blu-ray and 4K. Let me see the whole inside here. Don't look like there's anything on the other side. There is, but it's just it's the entire shot right there, if you can see. Pretty nifty. The Incredible Hulk 4K Steelbook. Really cool cover. Next up, we have Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 was the next in the series. There's your Iron Man 2. Like I was saying before, this is your typical... This is how, like a lot of these... But these Iron Man 1, 2, and 3 were released later on, okay? They released in 4K like towards the end of, like, I think around when Age of Ultron, like when those movies started coming out, that's when they started, like, they flooded all the 4K market with all the movies that hadn't been put in 4K yet, and the Steelbook. So we got a lot of Steelbooks at one time. Probably about, I'd say nearly 6 or 8 Steelbooks came out within a couple months span from the MCU. And this is the Iron Man 2. Now, Iron Man was available in other countries on 4K in Steelbook form, as we might get to see here in just a little bit. But in the U.S., they came out really late. U.S. is weird. I don't why our market is behind on some of the movies. I have no idea, but they do that to today, you know. But here's the inside cover and movies. And when I pull the movies out, it's just going to be, I don't know if you guys like seeing this stuff or not, all the artwork on the inside. But I'll do it. I've got time to. But it's just Iron Man there. Pretty cool. I'm messing with you guys a little bit. Iron Man 2 Steelbook. Really cool cover. We got Thor. The next movie in the MCU was Thor. Thor 1. Anthony Hopkins. Tom Hiddleston. I'll show you the back. That's really cool. Millimeter. Inside discs. Our artwork. Really cool. I'll pull the rest out to show you guys. It's just this is the opening shot where Thor's coming into where he's at first going to be made a king of Asgard. Opening shot. I have a little funny story to tell you guys about when I watched Thor on Blu-ray. When I watched Thor on Blu-ray for the first time, I'd seen it in the theater, and I went in and I bought it on Blu-ray. And I was watching, and I was like, and I got to that scene right there. That's what made me think of that. And I was like, man, this don't look good. And I went over to the case, and I was like, I had to put the DVD in and not the Blu-ray. I was like, well, no wonder it didn't look very good. So I stuck the Blu-ray and it looked great. So that's how it goes sometimes. Next up, the MCU, Captain America, and this going on the same theme as the Iron Man movies. As you can see, they had that you can tell they kind of conceived of all these at the same time, because they all have like that cast photo on the front, kind of I don't know what you call that, but that's a great cover. These are great cover. I thought the Captain Americas were done really well, but here's the back. Here's the old timey World War II era shield. Here's the inner workings, discs, and artwork. I'll pull them out so you guys can see the full artwork, and there's really nothing to see. Some of these I might not show everything. I may. But there you go. There's your full artwork for that. One of my favorites in the MCU. Not my 100% favorite, but one of my favorites. It's a really fun movie. But yeah, like going on the... But like you can tell, they kind of put all these, like Iron Man, all three Iron Mans and the Captain Americas, they all kind of put out at the same time, because they all have kind of that same kind of I always forget the words for that, but that kind of framed out look like that. And cast photo. So coming to the next steelbook here, as we get to the first Avengers movie. Really beautiful. This is embossed a little bit. It's the Avengers down here is raised off of the cover a little. There's your front cover. I'm not going through cast and stuff very thoroughly on any of these, because everybody knows these movies. There's no sense going through all the bells and whistles of them. As far as that, I'll tell little stories about some of it, but there's look how that, yeah, look at that. But look at that back on that. Really cool. Really cool artwork. And inside, I'm not going to pull these discs out, because you can see all the artwork. That's pretty much it. It's of Iron Man, and the rest is just, they're just taking one scene. I wish they kind of did something more, a little more creative on the inside, and made it like worth looking at the inside of these. But that's pretty cool anyways, because that's just printed. That's a backside printing. So there's a lot that goes in on painting these steelbooks. So there's your discs. There we go. I'm sorry. Sometimes I can't see around there. There's the disc, and there's that artwork again. It's really cool stuff. There's your side profile pic there. Anybody wants one of these codes in here, just if you're a member of my site, hit me up and I'll pass along one of the codes to you if you want the digital copy of this. So I have digital copies of all this. I don't know if any of these digital copies are even redeemable anymore, because some of these companies that are doing this stuff, more than likely, yeah, this is Prime Video and stuff like this. Maybe they'll do it. But if you want these, just give me a call. Theoretically, but talk to me on there, and I'll send you a digital code. Next up, after the Avengers, chronologically, we have Iron Man 2. There's your back. You can see the receptor is starting to get different. It's not the receptor. I'm sorry. It's what he calls it in. I'm trying to think what they call it in the comic book, actually, but it's I apologize. I'm going blank. But really beautiful cover. Once again, you can tell all these came out at the same time, because it's got the more or less the cast photo art and the framing around it like that. It's pretty. It's a pretty picture. It's a good looking picture. It's just I just don't think they put a lot they obviously did them all at once, and I'll show you whenever we get to some of the others. Now, I will pull the disc out of here because you can't see the whole picture. And you might want to see the disc first. You might want to see that stuff. Iron Man 2, I don't know how you guys think about that. I think as far as, world building in the MCU, there you go. That's what we got here. Pretty cool picture. Is that him sitting on top of the donut stand? No, that's him sitting in the... That's pretty cool. But I like this movie. It's fun. It's when you, a lot of times these movies, when you go back and rewatch them, there's a lot more there, especially the way they like to put Easter eggs and things in there. And the more you go back and watch it, sometimes it makes these movies more enjoyable. The ones people didn't like as much. We'll get to Iron Man 3 in a little bit, and I'll talk about it. But yeah, Iron Man 2 is fun. It's got some interesting stuff. It's just I kind of agree with some other people about they never really give Iron Man great villains necessarily in his movies. I mean, Ironmonger was alright, but other than that, he didn't. His villains never were that great. So, and really, the villains throughout the whole MCU weren't that great, except for obviously one at the end. But next up, Thor 2, The Dark World. A lot of people didn't like this movie very much. I did enjoy it. I thought it was another like part 2 of Iron Man there. It was an enjoyable world building movie. There's a lot there about the ether and things like that. There's not much to see on the back. You can see that symbol there on the back. The inside's just going to be Thor, but we'll see the cover here. And I will pull these discs for you. You can see the whole Thor. It's kind of funny, like the shot in here and the shot right there is almost like one scene from another. It's almost taken from the same artwork, and I just dropped that. It went flying. But that is Thor Ragnarok. Beautiful cover. Another one did. This is one of them. Another one that's done like that. The framing and cat's photo. But this one's a little more. I don't know. This is really beautiful as you can get up close to it. It's a really nice paint job there. Next up, we got Captain America Winter Soldier, one of my favorites in the series, the MCU Phase 2, and maybe the whole MCU series. This is a beautiful cover. Helicarrier in the back. Sorry, I meant Thanos earlier. I don't know why I went blank on Thanos' name, but you guys are probably like, "It's stupid idiot." Yeah. Here's your inner. Yeah, see, I mean, like, the artwork, I mean, that inner artwork's just not that interesting sometimes. It's kind of funny, how they did that. But there's Captain America Winter Soldier. You know, I was just realizing this, but the Winter Soldier, he's not even in the damn artwork here. But this is definitely it. Unless he's like way back here in the back. Yeah, he's right here. He's like off to the side. Like he's one of the main components of the damn story. And he's like right here. This has to be when Disney took over. I think they may have took over about this time. I'll explain it. The next is, here's the DVD. This is the Blu-ray Steelbook I've been talking about. This is one of my favorite Blu-ray Steelbooks. One of my favorite Steelbooks, period. But this was from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. This is the tape recorder Steelbook. You can see the controls are on the side. It looks like a old tape player you used to have, a Walkman, like he carried around. And on the back is like the cast photo. It's really cool. Inside is like a cassette. That's as far as I'll go, but you know this was a 3D Blu-ray set as well. I do have some of the other 3D sets that are just in regular Blu-ray form, but not a whole lot of them. I'm not a big fan of 3D. I've got kind of messed up eyes. I used to have a TV. Used to have a 3D TV. I don't know if they make 3D TVs in America anymore. They may. You might have to special order it or something. But like when I bought my newest TV, I was like, I didn't even think about that when I bought it. I was like, that's not even important, because if anybody's had a 3D TV, you have to be with the TV, like in the theater, the screen's so big that you can get the effect to some degree. And even in the theaters, it's a gimmick. It's always been a gimmick, but it's just a selling gimmick. But it's at home you have to be like perfectly aligned to get any effect at all. You can only set like 6 feet from the screen. If you have like a 55 inch or above, or maybe a 55 inch or 60 inch, you basically can be 6 feet from the screen. And the screen has to pretty much encapsulate your entire field of vision for it to work. And with the TV at home, if you're like 8-10 feet away, and the screen's like like this in this field of vision, kind of in this field of vision, like in your vision, you're not going to get the effect. So it's just a waste of money at home. It's people get into it, but it's, especially the collecting of them, it's like, I don't care. I could care less. They're not going to be worth any money because it's stupid. This is Guardians of the Galaxy 4K that came out. And see, this was made during that whole push. Like, it's part of that whole push towards the end to get them all in 4K. But I bought them. I'm not saying people were dumb for not buying them. I mean, maybe we were, but I bought them anyways because I wanted them all. That's how I wanted these on Steelbook instead of buying like the big set that they came out with. But there's your Guardians of the Galaxy. Now they did put the tape on the back, like they were trying to acknowledge that whole thing, besides just the regular spine. And here's the inner works here. If you guys remember, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to my page. If you guys can think about it, I appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe. We are pushing towards the 50 subscriber mark, and after we hit 50 subscribers, I will be giving away this beautiful steelbook here of Chernobyl. And I wanted to make sure everybody could see that it is in the packaging still, brand new, nothing wrong with it. Wonderful little mini-series. There's your inner works of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Sorry about the interlude there. Just thought about it. But this is this is one of my favorite. This is one of the high favorites of the series as well. Very great movie. Very fun. Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't a great comic book. What a lot of this is taken from is the comic book series that ended up being more successful. The run that kind of came later on, but the earlier stuff never was very popular. But following that is Guardians of the Galaxy. Up next, Avengers Age of Ultron. Another embossed Avengers logo here. And this is embossed up in here a little bit. Beautiful cover. Backside, just Ultron's face there, you can see. The inner workings here. I really enjoyed this movie as well. This is fun. There's your discs. There's that artwork up there. This must be the battle over Sokovia scene. Iron Man. A little bit of comic book lore. The reason why Iron Man, if you read the comics, you know that Iron Man's, he pops up all over the place, especially he's in the Guardians of the Galaxy. He's pops up in, he's kind of the leader of the Avengers. Obviously, he's the leader of the Avengers in the movies, but in the comic books he is as well, and he's just kind of pops up in everybody's, comic books and things like that. If you didn't know that, it's pretty obvious in the movies, but it's a shame that he's gone. He's already gone already. It's just too quick because he's, been in the comics for decades, as the leader of the Avengers, and we get rid of him basically in 1 decade of movie making, of 15 years. So it kind of sucks because he's one of my favorite characters. I've always liked him just because I'm a car guy, and his character is a car guy, and it's just that way. The next here is the next movie up. This is Ant-Man, but this is the Blu-ray Ant-Man that I bought first. This is Blu-ray. The Blu-ray set, a beautiful set. There is some embossing on the Ant-Man, and I think this is a beautiful, beautiful cover here. The PIM logo on the back. But as you can see, it's just the Ant-Man logo inside and a singular Blu-ray. I don't think there's anything on the other side. Yeah, it's just another PIM logo. Pretty cool stuff there. That's a beautiful cover. I always like that one. But then they released, here we go again with you can see how many they released at the same time. You can see the difference in the covers. I think they tried to keep them pretty regular, pretty consistent throughout the run. I think that's why they tried to do that a lot. But you can see if they look with Avengers and stuff, they go away from it. But this is Ant-Man 4K Steelbook Esquire. Back is just the little disc he throws to make things bigger. It's one of the little devices. Inner artwork. This is another one. I really enjoy this movie. I really like Ant-Man. One of the underrated characters. Hank Pym, he's kind of, the way the movies kind of play, the way the comic books play out, they didn't play Hank Pym out quite the same way. Hank Pym has a lot to do with X-Men Days of Future Past. He was part of that storyline, but where obviously the X-Men isn't involved with the MCU at this point. See, they could go back and redo, do some of those storylines wonderfully, but it's not going to happen. We're getting the MCU, and it's going to be. I think they're going to destroy it. Hope for the best, expect the worst. Ant-Man Steelbook. 4K Steelbook. Next up here is a beautiful cover. Another late addition to the 4K Steelbooks, obviously, with the framing. Doctor Strange, beautiful cover art though. 4K Steelbook. Backside, the amulet with a stone inside of it. Inner artwork. There you go. Pretty cool, huh? I'm going to start that again. I did that in one video a bunch. I did that a whole bunch, and I don't want to keep on doing that. Doctor Strange Steelbook 4K. Next up, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 with Groot on the cover. Nothing special. This is kind of a I mean, that's a cool artwork, but there's not much going on there. This is a 3-discer here. This actually has the 3D in it. I forgot it. This is like a 3D 4K Steelbook set. And I'm not taking all these discs out. I'm sorry. You guys can kind of see the artwork in the back there. I might take this one out so you can see this side. But there you go. I'll show you that side of it. Pretty cool stuff there. It's weird that they still have this 3D in this one, this set. That's pretty strange. If anybody else has any other iterations of this 4K Steelbook, if maybe there is some different ones with different characters on the front, I'd like to see that. Next up, we got Captain America Civil War. This is a beautiful cover, but this is another late edition. All the Captain Americas came out at the same time, right after the Iron Mans, or maybe before the Iron Mans. I can't really remember. There's your back, your shield on the back. Inside, artwork. That entire scene. But all these have consistently the same type of inner engineering with the over. I like these over under cases because the discs don't actually touch each other, but they're a pretty nice little they're a nice little way to have a dual disc system inside a case. They're really nice. I like that a lot. Captain America Civil War. One of my faves up there too. Then we got Spiderman Homecoming is the next up. Beautiful cover. They did a beautiful artwork for this one. This is like one that's textured, like textured paint. I know I haven't been doing that every time for you guys. Beautiful back artwork here. Artwork on the back. Beautiful. And it's just a spider web on the inside. I'm not going to pull this out for you. Really cool looking discs. 4K discs. Spider-Man Far From Home, or Spider-Man Homecoming. Beautiful disc here. Next up, we're going to have Thor. Probably one of my faves, too. One of the top 5 faves of the series, Thor Ragnarok. Some people didn't like this movie. I keep hearing certain person on a certain channel don't like this movie. And I don't know if it's just because they don't like the director or something, but I think it was a wonderful movie because, if you read the comics, they kind of take from, they kind of pull from multiple different comic sources, but this is a pretty, this comes from, I believe it's called Planet Hulk. That's a series. Some of it comes from Planet Hulk, and some comes from the Thor stuff. It's kind of a mixture of that. I'm kind of having to turn this a little harder. It's like really reflecting hard, but really cool artwork. There's your inner artwork. Inner discs there. 4K Blu-ray. I like that they normally these are, most of these discs are always in these blue like this. I'm glad when they've made the 4Ks actually went back and made an effort to make the 4Ks actually stand out with actual picture art, Pretty cool scene right there. There you go. Thor Ragnarok 4K Steelbook. Beautiful cover. You'll see this was definitely not the framing as the others did. Next up is Black Panther. Beautiful steelbook. Beautiful chrome, or silver and black. Kind of a paint look there to it. Inner artwork and discs. Pretty cool. The inner artwork's just basically the entire cast right there. Pretty cool movie. It's like the Black Panther character is one of the older characters in the MCU. We come up with Avengers Infinity War. Look at that. Thanos with a glove. Beautiful artwork. Smooth textures. Beautiful paint. Earth in the background. I think that's Earth in the background. It looks like it. Here's the back. Avengers logo in space. Really cool. See what kind of inner artwork we got going on here. Like it's just the cast here, but it's pretty cool. Most of the cast. Rest of the Avengers. There you go. Avengers Infinity War 4K Steelbook. That's a really beautiful steelbook right there. Now we got Ant-Man and Wasp. And you can tell these are developed like at different times than that whole other series was developed, if you notice. Beautiful steelbook, Ant-Man and Wasp. Fun movie, and it's kind of weird here. I don't know what's going on with this Ant-Man here. For some reason I'm missing the the Blu-ray out of here. I don't know why. There's your disc. One disc, your 4K disc. I have no idea why I'm missing. I don't know why I'm missing the Blu-ray of that. Don't make any sense. I think I might let somebody borrow it or something, and I just haven't put it back in yet. I'm quite positive that's what I did. I had a friend that I used to work with that I used to let him borrow stuff, and I would give him the. He didn't have a 4K player, so I let him borrow the Blu-rays and check them out. I just haven't put it back in. Ant-Man and Wasp, ladies and gentlemen. 4K Steelbook. Beautiful cover. Next up is Captain Marvel. Yeah. Not my favorite movie. This is pretty much the entire Disney injection coming to fruition in the MCU. It's what it is. It's a beautiful steelbook, though. They made a beautiful cover. It's a steelbook. I'll do that. This is the Captain Marvel. I was kind of excited for this movie, too. I was kind of excited for it, and it's just... We got freaking Mary Sue Captain Marvel, you know. I'm the bestest ever, and I'm not going to do the voice, but she's the bestest ever, you know. And that's what we're going to be facing. This movie should have been Black Widow. This is where the Black Widow movie should have been. It only makes sense. She's been in the whole MCU. Why not give her a Phase 3 movie? But they had to shoehorn Captain Marvel in here because I guess they didn't think Black Panther or Black Widow was a strong enough character to compete with Wonder Woman. Like, nothing's going to compete with Wonder Woman. She's like part of the Holy Trinity in DC. I mean, she's one of the main DC characters. She's up there with Superman and Batman. So, I mean, you're not... Marvel never had characters as far as women characters on that scale. They've had some powerful women characters like Phoenix and Wanda Asimoff, but they don't have like a massive character, and that's what they're trying to make Captain Marvel, and she never was. Her comic books failed time after time. They've never done good, and they're just they're trying to force that character down our throats. And now we're going to get the big diverse Captain Marvel movie, the Miss Marvel movie. I don't know if it's going to be called Captain Marvel 3, but it's going to have like this different iterations of Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel. Kind of neat artwork there. Not to steal from Doomcock, but she's the bestest ever. Avengers Endgame. Not a very inspiring cover for that movie. You know, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, but good movie. Infinity War is much better. Fun movie. Avengers Infinity War 4K Blu-ray. It looks like this one may have came with... Oh, excuse me, did I say Infinity War? Endgame. Sorry, Endgame. This one come with 2 DVDs. This is a 3-disc set here. See if I can pull all this crap out here. All this crapola for shit. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, that's Endgame. Like, why is... Not a lot of fanfare for the very last movie. It's really weird. My apologies for this. My discs are falling everywhere. Avengers Endgame. Sorry I'm not being too up on this movie. I like this movie, but I just wasn't very... I wasn't very up on the artwork for this one. I mean, it's just kind of the collection. I guess it's a good way to send it off, I imagine. But you know, as big as they hyped this movie, you think they could have gave it a really insane steelbook. You know, we got Spider-Man Far From Home. The next in the MCU lineup. We're heading to home base here for the MCU movies. This is a beautiful artwork. Wasn't my favorite of the two Spider-Man movies. Little weak. Character's weak. I hate how they keep doing this switcheroo with the villains. Like Mysterio's not the real Mysterio. He's like fake Mysterio, and like, you know, the guy in freaking Iron Man 3. Oh, I didn't never talk about Iron Man 3. Did I even bring up Iron Man 3? Did I somehow skip over Iron Man 3? I know I talked about it, but I apologize. Yeah, Iron Man 3 is like, it's kind of loosely based on Extremis, the comic book series, but they don't take anything from it. Extremis is kind of important for Tony Stark in the comics. Like, whenever the Skull invasion happens, the Skrulls take Extremis from Tony Stark, and then he has trouble flying the suit. Extremis helps him fly the suit. They helps him, you know, neurologically. It's kind of neurologically interacts with him and the suit and allows him to operate the suit much better in the comic book lore. And in the books, in the movies, I'm glad kind of in the movies they don't go in that far in depth in his suit. He just, you know, they don't explain that. But yeah, but in the comics he loses Extremis, and he has trouble flying his suit because he's basically back to square one with the more modern suit. But what was I getting? Oh yeah, yeah, the Mandarin. He's another character that they just made the fake Mandarin. And I think the Mandarin's going to be real in the new movie coming out, the Shang-Chi movie. I think they're actually going to have the Mandarin, but the Mandarin's always, for I know, has been in like he was like kind of an Iron Man villain. I guess he did multiple things, and there's nothing going on here either. It's just spider webbing in the background. So there's your discs. Sorry to get a little cynical on you there, but that's the problems I have. Why do they keep making these cool villains into just like, you know, like Mysterio into just a fake Mysterio? He's just like a made up character instead of having like a real Mysterio, you know. That was the end of my apologies, that was the end of the MCU. That's all the MCU steelbooks there. Spider-Man Far From Home, Phase 3, Phases 1 through 3 covered. Sorry I didn't go through phase through those. I wasn't thinking about it, but Phase 1, 2, 3 there, that's Spider-Man Far From Home, finishes that up. And now this is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. These are going to be the series of... These are Mother Marvel movies that I have steelbooks of, but they're not part of the MCU, actually. But this is the Miles Morales Spider-Man's Into the Spider-Verse. Beautiful cover, graffiti art, kind of looks like the movie. And I believe this is not a 4K steelbook. This was a Blu-ray steelbook that I made a 4K steelbook. Because as far as I know, there's no such thing as a Far From Home 4K steelbook. I might be wrong about that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong about that. But I think I had to make this into a 4K steelbook. I had to order them separate. And that's pretty much all the artwork right there you get on the disc, opposite disc side. It come with a bonus disc here. I can't remember what it's on that one. Bonus Blu-ray. Next up, we have... This is the movie I was talking about earlier. This is I think it's a German Iron Man 4K steelbook trilogy in one steelbook. and you can tell it's an oddball kind of thing because they're stacked in here. Instead of their 4K stacked, the one side's got your 4Ks, this side has your 4Ks, this side has your Blu-rays. And I believe they're the same transfers that come to the Americans. They look about the same. They look good, but I really wanted the 4Ks in these, and that's when I was getting into 4Ks, so I ordered these. I didn't pay a whole lot for them, and there's your backside artwork, which is like a basic Iron Man trilogy, but you see how it's a trilogy. I don't know if it's, I can't remember if it's German. It's a European release, but I can't really remember. We got Deadpool 4K Steelbook Esquire. Beautiful artwork here. There's your Deadpool logo on the back. 4K discs. Oh, well, somebody got a code there, so it's alright. I can have it. If you can swap it, I messed up. I'm sorry. There's your Deadpool artwork on there. Deadpool 2 4K Steelbook. Cool artwork. Now this one is a slip cover artwork. I love these. This is a slip. It has the 4K information on the top of it, and the movie information on the back. It's a little busy, but now this is a different kind of inner case here. This is a multiple disc case. Let's see how many discs is in this. It's 4 discs. So you get the 4K, you get the Blu-ray, you get 2 4Ks. Okay, that's I couldn't remember. You get the new format. I think you get the original cut, and then you get the longer cut. You get 3 different cuts of the movie. I apologize, I'm not showing those to you, but there's the first cut. Then you got this kind of sleeve, and then you got 3 or 4 different cuts of the movie. Like they really brought it to this set. It's a 4-disc set. See, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes they just hit it out of the ballpark, but this is not Disney. This was Sony. So sometimes it's different. Well, my bad. It was Fox at the time. I apologize. This would be, yeah, it was Fox. Fox put this. This was Fox. Rated R. Wonderful movie. Next is the Hulk. This is the Ang Lee Hulk 4K, or Blu-ray Steelbook of the Hulk. Beautiful Steelbook. This is another one of those series that's in the comic book style fashion case. Blu-rays, DVD. Somebody got another code, it looks like. That's alright, I'm getting lazy at the end, but there's no artwork in this one. In the inside, there you go. Hulk Blu-ray Steelbook. There's X-Men First Class. Can't remember if this is a Blu-ray Steelbook. Really cool. Magneto on the front, X on the back. Artwork on the inside. X-Men First Class Blu-ray Steelbook. Here is X-Men Days of Future Past Blu-ray Steelbook. I'm not sure if these have been released, and they have been released in 4K. I think you can get them in sets, but not on the Steelbook sets though. Really cool. Cool artwork, the DVD. You can see what's going on there, both sides. Pretty cool. Days of Future Past, X-Men, Steelbook, Blu-ray. X-Men Apocalypse, Steelbook, Blu-ray. I'm looking at them to make sure they are Blu-rays. I'm pretty sure I didn't have any 4Ks in there. There's your discs. This cover is embossed into there. It's impressed in there. Really cool. There's your back artwork. Next up here we have Dark Phoenix, X-Men. It's just Dark Phoenix, the movie. Got your little X on the end there. Beautiful cover. Crappy movie. What can I say? The X-Men movies after First Class kind of went downhill. Days of Future Past is great. Days of Future Past is a great movie. This is a 4K. This is a 4K after all. Pretty picture on the inside, but not a tremendously great movie. They just went downhill, one movie after another after that. Next up is a really cool cover. This is Venom from Fox. This is the Venom 4K Steelbook. No inner artwork, as you can see. Nothing. It's just blue. There's your back, if I didn't show it to you. Really cool. It's Venom, ladies and gentlemen. Fun movie. We got Joker next. There's DC. Gonna get in. I think that ends my. I believe that's all my Marvel movies on Steelbook. So here's my DC movies on Steelbook, and as you can see, there's Joker, Joaquin Phoenix. There's your backside. Really cool. Now this is 4K Steelbook. Inner artwork. Discs. Blu-ray and 4K. Le Joker Steelbook. Next is Aquaman. I like this movie. Some people do and some people don't, but I really enjoyed this movie. Even with Amber Heard in it. She's a beautiful woman, don't get me wrong. I don't think she's beautiful inside, but she's a beautiful woman, no doubt. Not beautiful where it counts. That's maybe. Yeah, maybe it is, but there's your inner artwork. But a very fun movie. Jason Momoa, not Samoa. Jason Momoa from Samoa. Nah, I don't think so. Aquaman. Steelbook. 4K. Next up, Wonder Woman, the first one. Wonder Woman 1. I really enjoyed Wonder Woman. It's got a slip. Yeah, Wonder Woman 1 is a really good movie. Very highly enjoyed it. There's your backside artwork. Like I said, it has the lenticular. No, it's not lenticular, but that's a slip cover. That's what it looks like without anything. There you go. It's just the Wonder Woman. Really cool. This is the 4K Steelbook. Now, there was a Blu-ray Steelbook that I didn't buy, and I kind of kicked myself for not buying it, but I've never went back and rebought it. I was like, I'm still not. I've seen it several times since then, and I was like, nah, I'm still not going to buy it. I think the reason why I didn't buy it is because they didn't have a 4K Steelbook at first, and I wanted the 4K. I wanted the 4K disc at first, and they just had the slip cover and not the Steelbook. So I just went with the slip cover instead of the Steelbook. And then later on, just recently, they released this. This came out this within the past 6 months, I believe, or maybe the end of last year. There's your inner artwork. Very good movie. Which brings us up to our next movie. And it's funny how you fall from grace so quickly in the movie world, especially these days in this politics. Wonder Woman 1984. With a cover with Wonder Woman 1984, you could have went so many places, especially with 1984, the book 1984, or, you could have done so many cool things with this movie, but they did not. It's simply a MacGuffin chase, basically. The way I like to put it, it's another MacGuffin chase. There's your backside. I'm not going through it too much because I bought the 4K Steelbook because I didn't end up seeing it on HBO Max. I missed it, so I just went ahead and bought it. I ended up buying the 4K Steelbook just so I could watch it and give it a bad review. Inner artwork there for you. Sorry, I'm flying through. I didn't mean to. There's your inner artwork. No, I mean it don't even have any good parts in it. Even the action's, kind of subdued by the kind of mediocre CGI. And they had a lot of time on this movie, man, because of COVID. They had a lot of time to work on this movie. They could have really did a great job on it, or done something to it that made it better. It's just everything in it's just not very good. It's just the story's not good. Everything. Here's Justice League, and this is the original Justice League. That's why I call it the Justice League, the Joss Whedon League. It's funny, Joss Whedon, he did so many good things, Firefly and Buffy and stuff like that. He did that stuff, and then I don't know what happened with this movie. I don't know. He came in and they told him to change everything that Zack Snyder had done, and he just, stuff don't make sense in this cut. But this is the Justice League. Let's see if this is a 4K Steelbook, and this is a 4K Steelbook. Beautiful artwork on this Steelbook, though. The comic book back, the black and white, basically the black and white version of the front, black and white, color, black and white. Moving into the final stretch here, we got another so-so movie, Harley Quinn, The Birds of Prey, and the Emancipation of Harley Quinn, which I don't want to even go into this because Harley Quinn's not even part of the Birds of Prey in the comic books ever, not really, ever. So it don't make much sense why they incorporate her into this storyline, because of Harley Quinn, they basically sidelined the Birds of Prey, which has a pretty interesting story arc in the comic books, and pretty much have their own good story, their own good comics, and they sidelined them for freaking Harley Quinn, which is a great character on her own, but just needs to be in her own movie, or in a really great Joker movie where she's never appeared alongside Joker. She's never, and that's how she's been established in the comic books and the cartoon lore. She's, and you need to establish that character before you give her her own spin-off. She's only been in one other movie before, and then she gets her own spin-off. I don't care who's Margot Robbie, how powerful she is. You just don't do that. You make bad movies like this if you do that kind of stuff. Next one is one of my favorite DC movies that's come out in the recent years is Shazam. Shazam! Bam, bam, bam. There's Shazam on the back. Really cool artwork. Inner artwork, Shazam playing video games in the Shazam suit. 4K Steelbook. fun movie. I need to rewatch this again here soon. I've watched it several times, but now this movie is fun. I really enjoyed this movie. It's got a different tone than some of the other DC movies. Aquaman was good and this is good, and then everything since that's not been so good. You had Wonder Woman. You had Wonder Woman that was good, and then everything else has been bad. But this is that's all my DC comic book movies. And this is just some random comic book movies that are. This isn't really a comic. This wasn't an actual comic book, but it's kind of comic bookish. But this is Glass, the culmination movie from M. Night Shyamalan. This movie's all right. I don't think it's as good as Split or the first Unbreakable movie, but it's pretty fun. Split's wonderful if you've never seen Split, but James McAvoy does a wonderful job in that. But this has Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, James McAvoy. This is a fun movie if you guys have not seen it. Highly recommend you guys watch Unbreakable by M. Night Shyamalan and Split by M. Night Shyamalan before watching that movie, because that is the culmination of those two movies, and they have a lot to do with comic books in the movie. That's why it's part of my comic book movie collection on Steelbook, because it's kind of this was just a Blu-ray. Did I not show you guys the inside? I apologize there. It's just a Blu-ray Steelbook, and it was a Blu-ray exclusive to Target. You couldn't get it at Best Buy, and you can get 4K. I just never have bought the 4K to make it a 4K Steelbook. And the last one here, well, no, I got a couple more. Now, this is the newer Hellboy. This isn't the original Hellboy with Ron Perlman. I didn't hate this movie. A lot of people hated it. I don't know. I felt like it had more of the tone of the comic book to me, but the first movie is still a much better movie. The first movie just takes scenes directly out of the comic book, though. So both of them. This movie was fun, but it's not the first movie. I'm not going to spend much time on it. It's a beautiful Steelbook, though. Really nice. Hellboy. I think it's just Hellboy. I don't know why. They reboot something that was good in the first place only basically 10 to 15 years later. It don't make sense. I mean, there was nothing wrong with the Perlman Hellboy. It's a great movie. It's an excellent movie. This is Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. Beautiful Steelbook cover. Fun movie. This is just a Blu-ray Steelbook, though. There's Perlman as Hellboy. I just thought he's a better Hellboy because he's, Perlman's a monster by himself, without even being made into a monster. I'm not talking about ugly man. I'm just talking about he's just a beast of a guy. He's big. He played Beauty and the Beast in the Beauty and the Beast TV show. Or was it a made for movie, or it was a TV show, wasn't it? Yeah. I believe that about wraps it up. No, I have one more. This is one more. I can't remember if this might be DC, or I can't remember if Dread's DC or who Dread is released by. Somebody needs to correct me in the comic books. I could look it up, but this is Dread. I love this version of Dread. Than the Stallone Judge Dredd back in the 90s. It was like a buddy cop comedy or something, with Rob Schneider. This is a slipcover as well. Wonderful Steelbook. I Am the Law on the back. With the motorcycle. This is a 4K Steelbook here. There you go. Yeah, I love this movie because this is the thing about Carl Urban. He does the comic book justice. He never takes his helmet off. Stallone had to take his helmet. He takes his helmet off in the first few minutes of the movie, I think, or I believe the first first half of the movie, the helmet comes off. But you know, it was what it was. It's fun to watch the old movies, the '90s movies. But you know, these people put this stuff in the '90s up on a pedestal, and some of it's just not good at all. But this movie was good. It stays true to the comics for the most part, you know, at least with the helmet issue and things like that. I really enjoyed this movie. Thought it was really good. And that is the end of my comic book movies, my MCU collection, and my comic book movies, my Marvel movies, and my DC movies on 4K Steelbook or Blu-ray Steelbook. What do you guys think? If you guys have any questions, you guys can email me if you want to. You can text me, or you can leave a message on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the page. I appreciate you guys watching this video, and I am out of here for the day, and you guys enjoy your beautiful Sunday as I am. Talk to you later.